Shakira and Harry, Tony and Cash. The winners of Love Island 2025 are Tony and Cash!
Hi everyone, I'm sorry yesterday and the day before I had a personal emergency, so I wasn't able to sort of upload. I was contemplating doing a live review, but here we are. Am I surprised with the winner? Not really. I'm going to be honest, not really, because either way, it was all up to Yas, Shakira and Tony. They were either going to win it or lose it amongst themselves. And I'm happy that they were the top three at the end of the day, because they were the better girls in the villa this season. Yes, there were some other girls that were better, but they weren't given the opportunity or didn't get the opportunity to sort of find an amazing guy to make it to the finale, because either way, Belakis, Malaysia, Alima could have easily made it to the final, even Andrada, but sadly they didn't have the high quality guys to get them over the hump. And I think Tony, what won it for her was the fact that she had the better guy out of the three. I'm not saying Jamie's a bad guy, but I'm saying he came with his own sort of fan base before entering the villa, plus the fans that he recruited with just being himself. Sadly for Jamie and for Harry, their storylines didn't serve them any justice. For Jamie, sadly, the hump that he had with Diaz is what lost it for them, because people really like them as a couple. For Harry, his turbulent relationship with Helena and Shakira is what lost it for them, because had he stayed in his couple, had he not sort of gone along with the group and sort of gone for Helena, he would have won this easily. And so I'm happy with Tony and Cash winning, because at the end of the day, had either one of the girls won, I would have been happy with them, because I think they all had amazing stories to tell this season. And so I'm happy that, one of them won, one of the baddies won. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island UK, Season 12, Episode 57, the finale. But anyway, it's the final, and it's surprising to think that we're already at the final. Time has really flown by so fast. And so we have the top four couples. I think Angel and Ty were the best of a crazy bunch, so this is why they've managed to squeeze in. So it's Angel and Ty, Harry, Shakira, Cash and Tony, and Yas and Jamie. And because we didn't have that many amazing couples, this is who we settled for. The girls were amazing. I think the guys that are paired with the baddies are only there because they're paired with the baddies. Bar Cash, I think people really fell in love with Cash. Anyway, Maya Jama is there. They then go to the fire pit. They sit down for a chat, and you have Angel and Ty. They're asked, how do you feel about being in the final? And they say that a lot of people didn't know them, and also at the same time, people could see how strong their bond was. This is why everyone voted to save them. Do I think so? No. I think a lot of people had issues with Dijon. This is why they voted to save Ty and Angel. So Ty and Angel were lucky. If there was anyone else, or if the the Islanders had been asked to choose two couples, I wouldn't be surprised if that would have been Angel and Ty going home. Harry and Shakira. Harry's happy to be in the final. He can't believe he's made it. We all can't believe you've made it to the final, Harry. And he says, there's no one else you'd want to be in the final with except for Shakira. So I love that for them. They seem very peaceful and happy. Cash and Tony. Tony talks about, moving to the UK. She's really been on that, moving to the UK. I think Tony is smitten. Tony's a gone girl, and she will do anything to keep Cash, especially given how much her mom loves Cash. And then Yas and Jamie, they're just saying, it's surprising that we're back at the fire pit where it all started, because their connection started after they kissed. So I love this for them. We then get to see the Islanders wake up in the villa the day of the final. The girls, for the first time in the season, go and make breakfast. The same thing happened last season. If I'm not mistaken, the girls made breakfast for the boys. But then what happened is production actually set out tables, so they got to sit in their couples on their on their little tables, and they were sort of discussing their connections and how they feel about being in the final. Tony, what stood out for me was Tony said, she's open to moving to the UK indefinitely. And Kai said to her, you don't have to move if you don't want to move. And I'm sort of side-eyeing that, but he saved it very well because he said, I'm open to moving. So if you can't move, I'm open to moving. That sort of got me to go to sigh a breath of relief, because I was worried that he might not have that strong a connection to her. So if he's saying that, that's good. Shakira and Harry are ecstatic. They're happy. Harry talks about the fact that he's happy he got to follow Shakira into the dressing room and have the conversations that he had with her, because it was able to sort of open his eyes to his connection. I said this before in previous reviews that I think Harry, the moment his opinion about his connection with Helena changed, was the grafties. Production thought they were throwing Shakira under the bus, but they didn't realize that they were actually opening Harry's eyes, because I think seeing her cry and talk about fake people and whatever is what made him realize how much he had broken Shakira, and he decided to go all guns blazing for her. So I'm happy that she's happy. I'm happy that he is happy on his part. Yas and Jamie talk about their connection, that, they're surprised that their connection started off with a kiss at the fire pit, and this is where they are. I think Yas and Jamie complement each other, as I've said before. So I'm happy that they're there. With Angel and Ty, they've just flown under the radar because they were the best of a bad bunch. Anyway, you then have the boys sit on their own, the girls sit on their own. And it seemed like this is a more cohesive group of people. This makes sense that they would actually enjoy each other's time. Even Angel is a totally different beast now that the clique is not there. So Shakira receives a message. Islanders, tonight you'll have a very special finalist dinner. #final field. #one last evening. So you have the Islanders go and get ready, because obviously they have to put on their best. So the boys come out, they're all dressed in their very formal attire. It looked amazing. It looked way better than last season, because last season it looked like they went to a charity shop and got the suits, because Josh's suit was not fitting. One or two people, their suits fit better. I don't know what is happening with the Love Island budget. Somebody needs to explain to us, because last season didn't make sense, and this season it was slightly better but still didn't make sense. For the dresses for the girls, I don't know why they don't have up-and-coming designers sort of design for the show, and then they get the girls to choose, because the dresses didn't even make sense. I think Yas and Shakira's were just plain, and so there wasn't anything stand out. I think the girls have actually worn better throughout the season. With Angel's dress, I didn't like it. Nothing different about that. And Tony, I don't know. I really don't know, because none of the outfits made any sense to be outfits that are worn, at a final dinner. It's bad enough they have cut the budget right down, whereby people don't have individual date. They now have to have this family style Sunday dinner. But I didn't quite understand the need for everyone to sit around the table. Anyway, they sat around the table, and unlike last season, every couple sort of said a few nice things about their partner, and it went round. First up was Yas and Jamie. Yas was sort of saying to Jamie, you get me, you're my sense of calm. I've said this before, that Jamie has a way of pacifying Yas without actually trying, without actually, sort of doing anything special. So he's able to pacify her, able to make her be her best self, which I really love. For Jamie, he says, we had an instant connection as soon as they met, and he really loves being around her. She brings out the best side of him, and she's been his full journey in the villa. So they do make a cute couple. They complement each other very well, and I can see them working. Angel and Ty. Angel says there was an instant spark. She didn't say anything special that stood out for me, outside of just regurgitating things she said before. It's sort of giving me pause for concern with these two. I don't think they'll last long, because Ty said, I thank the gods for sending you in, and I thank you for coming in, because I was really having a hard time, and I think I'm falling for you. And it's like every single time he has to say something, be it his fire pit recoupling speech, be it anything, he's always saying, I had a very bad time. And it's like, what do you mean very bad time? Shakira told you there wasn't a spark, so that's it. You could have explored anybody else. We didn't even see you explore anybody else. So I don't get why you keep hammering on about this having a bad time. Shakira and Harry. Shakira says to Harry, you were my first choice. You were everything to me. And so I think Shakira and Harry, there was an instant spark. They had a very good connection. Harry, as he says, he came into the villa, he expected to be having fun. So coming into the villa, meeting someone like Shakira, realizing that he was going to be an instant boyfriend was something he was not prepared for. And I think this is why he sort of backpedaled when he realized that things were becoming too serious with Shakira. He apologized that, it took him a long time to see that she is the one he wanted and he couldn't have done this with anyone else. So I really love that for them. I really love that in the sense that everyone has commented that Harry gives boyfriend vibes around Shakira. With Helena, it was just a hit it and quit it. That's how he put it across. The fact that he didn't even please her when she was pleasing him should have been enough message to Helena to say there's nothing here. But she didn't get it. She wanted to play victim. And here we are. Tony and Cash, Tony said Cash makes her happy. She treats her very well, and he's really taught her about forgiveness because of his ability to forgive. They are in the situation that they're in, and she couldn't be happier. And I love it for Tony because he is another person who compliments Tony's storm. So when she's sort of blowing in the wind, he's able to sort of steadify her the way Jamie does for Yas. Cash on his part said, I'm very proud of you. You're unapologetically yourself. So this is one of the things I love about you. Well, he didn't say love. He said, I like. No one really declared or professed their love, which I really liked. And so everyone was happy. All the couples were at peace. And from there, they went and jumped in the pool, which has now become a Love Island tradition. So we have young bull Harrison sitting with Tommy and Ben. They're sitting with the girls, Megan, Lucy, and Andrada. So Maya's asking them questions. Harrison is asked because he left the villa saying he wanted to go and sort of continue things with Lauren. So he's asked, are you boyfriend and girlfriend yet? He says, not yet, but we are now exclusive. And it's like Harrison is going to pull this for as long as he can, as long as it gets him credibility with the viewers and the Women's Aid who complained about him. He's going to continue to pretend that he's still in a relationship with this girl. He's asked, who do you want to win? He says Harry and Shakira because he's always been friends with Harry, so it makes sense. Tommy is then asked about him and Lucy, and he says, well, what happened is he then went into dissertation and thesis. So he said he messed up. Apparently they went out on a night out. The girls were not able to go because they were going on a press tour, and so he and Ben were at the same party, and he got a couple too many drinks. It was a free bar, and he kissed a girl. So he then told Lucy, and Lucy and him were able to sort of discuss it, and they realized that they were going to go their separate ways. They're in a better space. They're friends. I get it. And then we heard about Megan and Hem, and I think Megan was looking for a spin, and Tommy must have known that Megan was looking for credibility after the viewers had lashed out against her for the way she treated Tommy, because he said, yeah, we did meet on a night out, we flirted, but it's not going to be anything, it will never be anything. Connor was sitting and listening to all of this, and it's like, they're making a big deal out of nothing. We really don't need to hear anymore. That's it. Lucy was sitting obviously in the background listening into all this conversation, and we felt some type of way. I don't know. Next up was Benjamin. Benjamin was, I don't know whether that's his full name. Anyway, Ben was at the same event as Tommy, and it seemed he got drunk as well and must have kissed the same girl, or that's the implication that we got. So this girl was going around kissing the guys. She decided to do a snog, marry, pie, and the boys were too gullible, so they kissed her. Andrada said she really liked Ben, so this was really hard for her because he was supposed to meet her family, but they were exclusive, and so they were not yet boyfriend and girlfriend, but she just wanted him to own up to what he had done. And this is one thing about Harry in the villa has always been able to own his crap, so I'm surprised that Ben didn't take a page out of that book, but he was able to take the messiness. It seems they have since had a conversation and they agree that this is where they are. There's nothing there. They are going to be friends, but there's nothing romantically. Surprise, no. We then move on to Dijon and Meg. Dijon and Meg are on a tour to repair their characters because they've left the villa and realized that the viewers actually saw way more than they saw, because movie night and sort of the grafters gave them a false sense of reality, made them feel like they were immune to the backlash, only to come out and have backlash. So they've been asked, have you sort of watched the show? Have you made amends? Have you discussed what's happened with the islanders that voted for you to be dumped? And then Megan is saying, we are all in a very good place. We are all going out. Where are we going? Malisha didn't answer because why should she answer? Dijon was also on that, apology tour saying we get along with everyone. And it's like, there's more to this conversation that needs to be had because the two of you were terrible to other people. So you have to go on an apology tour. And if nothing else, that time that they were speaking to Maya, if I were them, I would have said, I want to sincerely on camera apologize to Malisha for the way I spoke to her. I want to sincerely apologize to Billy Kiss for the way I spoke to her, instead of them trying to sort of brush everything under the carpet. Whether it's because production have told them to do that, I do not know. So we can't wait to see that. We did get a montage of sort of the islanders and coming in, the initial couples when they came in, and then the bombshells coming in until we got to the end where the final four were in the pool. Maya then had a conversation with Alima and Helena. Alima says she's been traveling a lot. Her DMs haven't really been exciting and she wants to get to know someone. She's asked about Ben and she says she's still good friends with Ben and that's all she wants at the moment. All she wants is a friendship, and she'll see what happens after that. She did say her DMs are boring, so she's hoping that people will slide in. I don't know. I really don't know. I think she needs to take a moment and just distress, and then her person will find her. I thought she was stunning, and I'm sad that she didn't get a fair shot. Helena said, she's just getting DMs from the old roster and just, waiting for good things to come in. So she might as well go back to Ibiza. And it's like, if that works for you girls, amazing. Good for you. I don't know. I really don't know what to think about Helena because I don't think she grew in the villa. I don't think anything changed about her. I think she's still the same old person that she was going into the villa. We had a conversation for Emma and Boris. Emma and Boris, for me, are another tricky couple in the sense that Emma, I feel like she's still not happy about Harry making it as far, or Harry getting, a redemption arc, because she said, she was asked, do you think he's changed? And then she's then out, and then eventually said, yeah, he's a different person with Shakira. The problem with Helena and Emma is they can't accept the reality that this guy is different with Shakira and that maybe he wants to spend his time with Shakira. This is why he's doing everything within his power to be the man that Shakira wants. So I didn't like her little dragging of a response. Eventually she said, he's got a clean slate, so he needs to not screw it up. And it's like, seriously, this guy is not perfect, but he's really said some of the nicest things about you. The least you could do is say the nicest things about him as well, so I don't get that. Boris said he's happy that the Casa boys are in the final, and definitely it's 3 of the Casa boys that are in the final. It's only 2 or 3 that didn't make it, so I'm happy for the Casa boys. It shows that they were better quality Casa boys than they were OG boys. So the final 4 couples are revealed. We had Angel and Ty, Shakira and Harry, Cash and Tony, and Yas and Jamie. Maya then reveals that it's time to announce who came in 4th. Am I surprised? No. They didn't need to even be in the top 4, but Angel and Ty were able to slide into the top 4 just because they were the better of a motley crew of people, in the sense that people couldn't stand Meg and Dijon. This is why they voted them to go home. Otherwise, had Meg been a bit nicer to the girls, then she might have found herself in the top 4. With Ty, I said it before, I'll say it again. Ty, I don't think is really into this relationship, but this relationship was able to get him to the finale and give him a tiny bit of clout, and this is why he will humor it. He said, he was lost at the time Angel came in, so she was a godsend. And personally, what do I think it was? I don't think so. I don't think she was a godsend for him. I think he knew that he was about to be dumped. So in that sense, yes. But romantically, I don't think he felt anything for her. They were asked what made them special, and all they said, it felt natural. We have a lot of laughs, and Angel said he was her type. Do I think so? No, I don't think so. I think they're just saying anything to just give it a positive spin. But there are 2 people who found themselves in a situation whereby they couldn't turn anybody else's head, so they decided to give it a go. The fact that their families approved just sealed the deal for them. Otherwise, do I think they're compatible? No. Do I think they're going to last more than a year? No. I think it's just going to be as long as they can get clout from this relationship. That's how long they're going to last together. Otherwise, if they find that it's not working for them, they're going to call it quits. They did speak about, having Sunday dinner together and having meetups in London. Hey, if that works for them, amazing. Third place was Yas and Jamie. Yas and Jamie were top pick for people for quite a bit. And I think the situation with Blue coming in and the situation with the baby, I think is the reason why they came in third. Yas was an iconic bombshell. Yes, she was. I think initially when she came in, she was overshadowed by Malaysia. And with Malaysia leaving, she decided to be feral and she really went for it because she must have been frustrated by how they were being treated as bombshells. So she is iconic in the sense that she said what she did, what she wanted, and did what she wanted. And she said, she's always been a straight shooter. She's never minced words. So this is who she is. Jamie, on his part, said he came in. Yas was one of the people he was interested in. So he came for it, went straight for the kiss, and it worked. And so they, have been a couple. They both have cats. Jamie brings the softer side of Yasmin. Surprised? No. I've said this before, that Yasmin is a totally different person. Just like Harry is a totally different person around Shakira, the same thing happens with Yasmin. She's a totally different person. He sort of calms her. He steadies her. They spoke about, their cats meeting up. They spoke about wanting to go on a date, but not anything that involves balance. So I love this for them. I can actually see them working. The sticky part might be the child situation, but outside of that, they can actually work. And the problem is Jamie is not saying he wants a child. He's saying he's not sure. So until he realizes what he wants, they'll be good. So you have Maya Jama sit down with the top two couples. Am I surprised who's in the top two? No. I think top two, top three was always up to Yas, Shakira, and Tony, and whichever guy they were with. And so I'm not surprised who's made it there because they were the better of the islanders that were left in the villa after the likes of Lima were dumped and you had the Andradas dumped. So I think they were the favorites. Even with those girls still in the villa, they would have, there's no doubt, their characters or their personalities stood out more. So I'm not surprised that they made it. Shakira's asked, what is it about Harry that you like? Because a lot of people, even her mum, have struggled to understand the allure of Harry, just like people struggle to understand the allure of, Turbo last season. And Shakira says, he's very witty, he's very charming, and he seems to really care about her. And so it sounds like he might be highly intelligent as well, because Shakira said she likes an intelligent guy. So I love this for her because he really seems to care about her. Harry says, he's always hidden away from his feelings. And this is something I think that came across to him in the early part of his connection with Shakira, the first time he coupled up with her. And he actually brought in Emma to say, I have been someone who every time something has got serious, I've run away. So it was easier for him with people like Helena because there was a friendship there. And flirting as well. So if Helena wants to say anything, Harry has always been consistent that there was a friendship, it was flirty. He's never had any stronger feelings for her. And I think this is why he found it comfortable. They asked if they're exclusives. They both say no. Shakira said, we'll wait and see. We're only taking it a day at a time. And I love that they're not putting pressure on it. I love that they're not sort of wanting to sort of go with everybody else's theme and they're going to take a moment. I think it depends on how Shakira's family feel about Harry, because at the moment that is quite a red flag that's still there that needs to be addressed. Harry spoke about the fact that Shakira's mama apparently did a very good TikTok on him, and he has convinced a lot of people. I think especially myself, he has convinced me with the way he's treated her and the way he's behaved with Shakira as compared to all these other connections, because all these other connections have been more sexual talk, more flirty, whereas with Shakira he's always been very serious and has always put her at the center of everything that he does. Yes, he did go back to Helena. Yes, he did do a couple of things wrong. But when things were right, he's always been very right. Maya then brought up the friendship between Tony and Shakira. And Tony and Shakira, their friendship was forged in the fire because everybody else was alienating them. And so they had to be friends in order to retain their sanity in the villa. And sadly, this seems to be a common theme because the same thing happened last season with Harriet and Mimi, because the other girls were isolating them and they ended up being friends. And Patsy, because nobody else wanted to be friends with them and the other clique was sort of going along, but it wasn't as bad as this season. This season was terrible. So apparently it comes out that Shakira and Tony had agreed that if one of them walked, they were going to walk together. And I think this is why production must have really fought hard for Shakira to stay. Their friendship, I really love it. It's a sisterhood. And once they created that bond, they then became the anchor for everyone else that was being treated as an outcast, the likes of Andrada, the likes of Yasmin. This is how Yasmin was able to come into the fold as well and create that sort of sisterhood. And I love that they acknowledge that, yeah, they didn't get along with other people, but between the two of them, they were each other's ride or die. We had Tony and Cash. Tony said, you know, I had no idea what I was walking into when I walked into the villa, but I've always been a popular person amongst my friends, and I just thought, you know, I'll find my people here, and it was a struggle for me when I wasn't that. It took her time to find her place, but she's happy that she was able to create a friendship with people, and she was able to find her man. Cash, you know, he said he's learned a lot about himself, and he's learned that, you know, he's learned about pride and how pride can sort of be a deterrent to a lot of things and be an obstacle. And so he's learned that if you let go of your pride, you might find some of the best things. I think he's talking about the fact that he didn't want to forgive Tony, and he never saw himself forgiving him. But once he forgave her, you know, he was able to receive good advice from a couple of people in the villa, and that allowed him to sort of find his way back to Tony. And sort of they are in this space where Tony revealed, they were asked, I think production let it slip that they revealed that they loved each other. Tony said Cash told her, I love you, and in him telling her that, she was able to say I love you back. And production were messy because they kept pointing back to Harrison making faces, and it's like, Harrison, it's your loss. Just because you didn't see her word, somebody else saw it, and they are in the space that they're in, and I really love it for them. And they're open to the idea of flying out to see one another, which I really love, because I think Cash and Tony are the same age, so they can relate, they can understand each other, they can sort of make sense to one another, which I love. We got to see messages from their loved ones. Cash's mom said, I'm so proud of you, you know, I really am, to the point whereby I want to say stop it. They had spoken prior to the footage of Tony's mom and her sort of appreciating Cash, and Cash said, you know, that really meant a lot. So I'm happy that he's able to get that reassurance from his, not only Tony's mom, but also his mom, of how proud of the man that he was throughout his time in the villa. We got to see footage from their friends, their family, which was really cute. And then Maya announced the winner. The winners were Tony and Cash. Am I surprised? No, because Cash, yes, Tony had a fan base, but Cash also had a massive fan base. And sadly for Shakira, Harry was the anchor that brought her down. I think had she been with someone like Connor, they might have won it. But at the end of the day, I'm happy that Tony won, because either Tony winning or Shakira winning made no difference to me. So I'm happy that she's won. It was cute to see that once she won, she jumped into Cash's arms, and Shakira was going to go and greet her, but then when she realized that she jumped into Cash, she sort of took a step back and waited. And then once they let go, you had Harry actually ask Shakira to Tony to sort of congratulate Tony, which I really love. That Harry will always do everything and anything to look out for Shakira and make sure she's okay. And I hope he continues to be that, because in his interview with the crew with India and Amy, he sort of said that he's already looking at, you know, barn convertibles on Rightmove, which is really cute that he's seen Shakira's messages. I'm sad we didn't get to see sort of little playbacks for them individually as couples, but hey, it is what it is. It was a great season, very toxic, very messy. I didn't like the division amongst the girls, but outside of that, I loved the drama. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 56. Bye guys.